Hey guys, today I just want to talk about the GMT400 series truck, specifically a K1500, so the half-ton. GMT400, if you don't know, is the 88 to 98 Suburbans, trucks, Tahoes. I think that's it. They also include for the 3/4 ton and 1 ton, 99 and 2000, and for the HDs 2001 and 2002. I'm just going to give a brief overview. I've had this truck for 57,000 miles, which was about 2 years time, so I drove it quite a bit, and it's 2018. This is a 96, so it's seen some age already, and I bought it at 316,000 miles. It died on me at 373, and now I'm going to part it out after I take off what I need for my other GMT400. And then I'll part this one out. But I just want to give an overview because I never did one while I was driving the truck. And before I disassemble it, I want to talk about the good things that I liked, what I didn't like, and what you need to know when you're considering getting one. Alright? So let's go walk around. This is my truck right here. It's a 96. I put some money into it. It is a 6.5 liter diesel. And my personal opinion on this is that's why I will talk about right now will be a 6.5 diesel K1500, okay? Why it's an excellent daily driver. Alright, so for one, gotta get headlights. If you get one of these, the stock headlights at this point are like 20 years old. Go on eBay, get some $80 headlights. They change how the truck looks. It's a must-do, and it doesn't cost much, and it makes a big difference. Not to mention, it actually helps light output, because these trucks, if you don't know, in stock form, have awful headlights. They're not very bright at all. Notice this is a 6.5 diesel truck, but I have the gasoline powered bumper on here. What is the difference? The difference is on a 6.5 truck, you will have the two holes here and here. There will be two holes. Those are meant for airflow, directed to get to the cooling stack. Those are not for lights. Those are not to where you put your PMD right in the way. Those are meant for airflow to get to your hit the cooling stack in the radiator. Okay. This bumper will be for sale because I won't need it anymore because I got a good bumper on my other GMT400. I'll probably pull off these little thingers though because I kind of like them. And use them on my other one because they're in better shape. Gonna sell these tires. These are 285/75 tires, and since this is a big question, 285/75/16 tires. These are the biggest size you can fit without a lift. All I did, I cranked the keys just a little bit, and if I turn the wrong direction, it rubs a smidge. But in most driving cases, it's not a problem. And 285 tires, no lift. It just fills the wheel wells nicely, and it just looks good. I get a lot of compliments on this truck. But I'm pulling everything. New taillights, same thing with the front. You gotta get rid of the old ones. I went with a stockish type look. Like this is like a updated factory look in my opinion. It looks really good. Matches the body lines and the whole style of the truck. I would also recommend, this is one of those motorcycle rear racks for the bed. Super cool, especially because these trucks do not have a tie down anywhere down here. Having some extra tie down points is actually pretty nice in a 400 series truck, because also in the back there's no tie down back there. All you got is the top. So having that, highly recommend it. It was 130 bucks. I forgot what it's called, but just Google Bed Buddy. I think it's the Bed Buddy. Google Bed Buddy motorcycle tie down for trucks, and something will come up like that. Okay, so I had the stock bumper in the rear, nothing fancy, stock hitch. Even though this is a half ton, it still had a 10,000 pound rated hitch, providing you had a weight distribution hitch on there for your receiver to be rated at 10,000 pounds. Oh, I didn't mention grill. Aftermarket grill. Normally you got this big GMC thing in the front. This looks a lot cleaner, in my opinion. I liked it better than stock. It looks a little bit custom. If you can keep it clean, which I discovered is kind of hard to keep clean, you really have to spend some time to keep this clean. But if you can do that, it looks really nice with the chrome right here and whatnot. I would not personally recommend body painting it unless you had a black truck. Maybe I've seen a couple black trucks that look pretty good, but if it's not a black truck, I don't think it's the best to body paint it. Leave it the chrome, especially on my truck where there's chrome bumpers, the wheels are silver alloy. Note down here, tow mirrors off the early Duramax, gotta have it. Why? Because they look great. And my half ton, everyone's like, but don't put tow mirrors on a half ton. My half ton was a diesel. If I needed to tow some weight, I could, especially with mine being slightly modified. 6 lug axles. Alright, I still only have a 6,600 pound GVWR. So 6,600 is not that much in terms of truck weight capacity. I had this truck on a scale. It weighed in on me at 5,500 pounds, almost on the dot. Okay, so if you got a gasser, it means you got a 4L60, means you got a gas motor, it's going to be a little bit less because this truck is a diesel and it's got a 4L80 trans, so a little bit bigger stuff, might weigh a little bit more. This thing, I didn't put that on, came like that, but I left it because it matched the wheels I got. By the way, these are, oh yeah, MB Razor wheels, I believe they're called MB Razors, Mike Bravo Razors, I believe, and they're just 16 by 8s, I believe, and they fit these tires great. Kind of match this thing real quick. This thing really made the truck look nice, really made that red pop having the black. This is Lowe's Herculiner roll-on. As you can see, over time, over the course of 2 years, it's coming off a little bit. Maybe I should have put another coat on it, but and some people are like, well, now you gotta sandblast it, everything, just to get that off if you want to repaint it. True, but when I did it, I wasn't planning for this to be a career show truck. Why not? People are going to be like, well, it looks pretty nice, why are you going to part it? Well, it is a rebuilt title, which is fine, providing everything was fixed. However, this truck did not have everything fixed. As you can see here, replace fender. The stripe is not here. Not a problem. Replace front grille, replace bumper. Not a problem. Now, the problem is, look, the gap is much wider over here because the front frame horn on this truck is slanted up. It makes it so that front skid plate is not bolt-inable. It does not affect steering at all, because I've driven it for 50,000 miles, 57 I believe, and but it's just, combined with all the other things it needs, and the fact that it died on me on the road a couple days ago, it looks great. Someone's gonna buy it for parts for me. I mean, it looks too good for someone not to buy it from parts for me. But I'm gonna take what I need. I'm gonna take the lights, the mirrors. Someone will get the tires. Someone will get the rear end. Oh, by the way, these half-ton diesel trucks come with a 6-lug, 14-bolt semi-floater rear end. Nice upgrade if you've got a gasser. If you've got a 4-door Tahoe. If you've got a even a Suburban, if you really wanted to. If you look on here, I've got a 3,700 pound rear rating for the rear axle, 6,600 pound total, okay? And this is a VIN specific 6.5 diesel truck. So someone's gonna buy this truck for me just because they don't want to deal with emissions, and that's why I don't have a problem selling it, parting it, because it's gonna sell. I'm going to take a couple things from the interior, but for the most part, this interior is going to go as it looks right here. I don't really need much from it. I'm mainly just going to take the gauges and the center console, and I think the rest I'm sticking put and going with whoever buys it. Oh, I need that. Definitely need that. Alright, the back was sprayed bed liner. I don't know who did it, but they did a good job because it looks really good. Like I said, I'm going to pull this out. I got a cool window American flag decal that I put on there. It looks pretty cool, matches the red, white, and blue. It just looks good. It is a Z71 package. It is an F44 heavy duty chassis half-ton package. Power seats. This seat, somehow the weld broke, so it looks pretty good though, but it rocks a little bit. That seat's like mint, the back seat's like mint. Carpet, not too bad. Notice how the RPM's only going up to 5 because it is a factory diesel. And gasoline, on the gas gauge it only says diesel fuel only. Now my gas gauge is horribly messed up. Apparently it's a common problem on these trucks as they age. There's a fix for it. If you look at LeroyDiesel.com, I believe he sells the repair kit for it if you ever want to drop your tank. Now because this was a 96, it was good and bad. 97, actually, I believe most 97 and newers had the center console. Easily swappable. It's easy to swap one in if you need one though. I do not have anything mirror wise, no compass, no temp. I did install some gauges which I'll be taking out with me. All this fancy is just a cargo lamp, no other buttons, because it is a floor shift 4x4. I would recommend, if you're looking for one of these trucks, get a floor shift 4x4. I would love to transfer that floor shift over to my Suburban, which you see over there, which is going to be my next GMT400 project, because that is also a 6.5 with over 100,000 miles less than this truck. And since I'll get in parts what I paid for that Suburban back, so I'm not regretting the loss of this too much. One thing to consider, check it out underneath. Can you see that, guys? There is no rust. This is the cleanest truck I have ever seen that is older than 10 years old. There is no rust anywhere. I wish I still lived in Chicago with this truck, because I could get some money based on how clean this is. So let's go to the passenger side. Oh, let me talk about these tow mirrors. An excellent thing, even if you don't tow. Why is that? Because this bottom mirror points directly to your rear tire and makes backing up into a parking spot ridiculously easily. Highly would recommend those tow mirrors. Let's see, back here, if you want to replace your rear speakers, you actually got quite a bit of work to do, because you got to pull the seat and then the whole panel over here, so that's kind of a lot of work. No speakers on the dash, just some door speakers. Mine are blown. Also note, some of these trucks, if you're looking at one, pour a bunch of water right here. Some of these trucks have a leaking windshield, or they leak in through the AC vent, and you'll see water coming down right here. It happened to my truck quite a bit. This is an AC blower motor to clean out. If you've got a fan that's not blowing very hard, it sounds like it's working hard, but it's not blowing hard, take off your blower motor, stick your hand up in there and clean out the debris. There is no cabin air filter, so you gotta do it manually, and it actually helped a lot when I did it. Okay, so like I said, someone's gonna get this seat because it's in great shape for sure. Like I said, this truck is definitely not gonna have too much of a problem selling for me. I got my nice exhaust that I'm gonna fit. This does have a 141-inch wheelbase. My Suburban has a 133-inch wheelbase, so honestly, move this back 8 inches, and that's gonna be the difference, you know, from there 8 inches, from here, or from here 8 inches back to here. It's gonna look like that. Back from the tire on my Suburban, it won't look that weird. It might look just right on once I put on the Suburban. So this is an SLE. It's what you want. I don't think an SLE, to my knowledge, you have to check. Most of the time the SLE came with buckets. I think it was kind of rare for them to come with the 60/40. So ain't much to really say. It did have most of these trucks had a 241 transfer case if you had it on the floor, with a 2 high, 4 high, 4 low, and a neutral. I mean, I like them because they're just so simple. You got 2 plugs, three plugs technically. Oh, that is the what's this called? Oh, your cigarette butt thing, because it's the 90s when this was made. But fortunately, most people significantly less people smoke in this period of time than they did before in the 90s. That came out. Mine was good in my Suburban. That came from the Suburban because it's, for whatever reasons, want to stay in. Don't really care for right now. I already pulled off the windshield wipers because those were brand new GM arms from the dealership I bought, and they look mint, and they're not all faded, so I put them on my Suburban. For the record, guys, that's the Suburban project that's coming up next, so stay tuned because videos will be coming in as I do stuff, starting with the lights, starting with the mirrors. I love that it's a 6.5, and I love that it has the tailgate rear. It's like a good mix of truck, good mix of Suburban, a family vehicle. It's kind of weird that I wanted one so bad, but I was super pumped to get that. The only thing I need, hey, if anyone hears of a door, I need a green and silver door for the driver's side, alright? So if you hear of one, just let me know in the comments. Kind of need one. That's like one of the only cosmetic things this Suburban needs is the driver's door, green and silver. Alright, so that is... Oh, I also mounted, which will be going on the Suburban, if you can see this, a tailgate running bar. Very easy to do. I just have it plugged into my 4-pin. And I believe when stay tuned for the video of when I swap it over to that Suburban. I believe it is on the green wire. That's your reverse wire for your positive, for the reverse to connect to splice into, so you can have the white. And the white is huge. It lights up the rear so much. You gotta have, if you have a light bar, hook up the reverse light. It's awesome. Gotta have it if it's there. And if you haven't bought one yet, buy one with the reverse light. It's only like 10 bucks more. Worth it. Okay, this is what the underhood of a 6.5 truck looks like. You got hydro boost brake setups. Battery bolts, definitely need those. I got heavy duty battery cables from a couple different places have them. But I'm rocking an A-Team turbo, a Kojo tune. I got a bunch of new parts, new water pump, new alternator. A lot of new parts that are going on my 6.5. This AC hose is new. Like I said, I'm going to be tearing this down. The reason why I don't just take the motor's got that legendary starter bolt issue, and it worked for me for 57,000 miles, but I would definitely not swap this motor into anything else because of it. It's definitely going to the crusher or to the wrecker, metal recycling, whatever. Things you need to know: my PMD goes down and mounts on my skid plate, which I currently already have on the Suburban because I had to use it to drive home. What you need to know: your fuel filter's back here. This is where your fuel filter is. I have a gauge running to it. Definitely only use the GM AC Delco metal top filters. Don't use your AutoZone brands. They just don't seal well for me. I don't know why. Never had a problem with the metal ones. Take it back. I had one problem with the metal ones. One was leaking really bad out the top because of a hole somehow cracked in it. But that became a very noticeable problem right away. Fixed it with just a new top, not a big problem. One thing you need to know about the 6.5 diesel trucks: make sure to get an aftermarket turbo. The stock one will ensure you have no power ever. This is an A-Team, a good option, an affordable option, bolts on, no problem. Also check out Quadstar Tuning. They also will have some worthwhile turbos that most people claim to be better than this one. I personally have never driven Quadstar Turbo, but everybody's saying that they're better. But for 800 bucks, this is a pretty good unit. I've had no problem with it. Combined with the tune, it definitely woke this truck up quite a bit. And because most of these turbos will require you to delete the vacuum pump, which goes right below your alternator. Okay, what you do is you're going to have to get a different belt size. I also put a Duramax. Order an alternator for 2001 Duramax. It brings you from 105 amp up to 130 amp. Bolts on, no problem. You're just gotta play with your belt sizes because it sits a little bit different, but find the belt that fits and it'll be fine and it'll be strong. This guy, if your wipers are ever messed up, this guy back here, there's a part, move this cover. I forgot what it's called. It's like a wiper pulse circuit board or something like that. If your wipers are messed up, they just randomly go, or they go too fast, or they sometimes go, sometimes don't go. It's probably this little thing. If I remember right, it's 40 or 50 bucks. Not too bad to replace. Steering, one issue with these trucks is the steering, because right down here, right before on the shaft, there's something called a rag joint. Rag joint gets worn out, steering box get worn out, tie rods get worn out. So you have three potential possibilities to have a worn steering to cause sloppy steering. This truck had horrible steering. I never fixed it though, because I didn't tow much with it. If I did tow more often, I definitely would have had it fixed, because once you lighten up the front a little bit, it became even more noticeable. Also notice how there's no emissions, weird looking thing on top of here. All the half tons had an L56 motor. That means they came with emissions on top. The intake manifold, I swapped this off of an HD truck. I think it was an 01 HD I pulled this from, and I took the bottom manifold and the top manifold off of it and installed it on here, and then I had the computer delete emissions. You have to do all three parts to truly delete emissions on your half ton. I noticed on my half ton burb, even though it's an 8-lug, it's still technically a half ton because of the gears. It had the proper intake manifold, the good one already, so I'll be selling this one. One thing I would suggest, consider a spot to remotely place your fuel filter somewhere else. It just gets really crowded back there with the glow plug controller stuff. It's kind of hard to reach, as you can see. It's kind of far back there. Some people mount it right here. Some people mount it underneath. I think on my Suburban I'm going to mount it somewhere else, just for, it's just too crowded over there. I just don't like it. Plus, I want my bleeder not to be up front. Right here's your bleeder for your fuel. You turn this, and if your truck shuts off, it's because your lift pump is not working. This should be, you turn it, it still should be pushing fuel. That means your lift pump's working. If it's not pushing fuel, your truck will shut off, meaning that the injection pump is the only thing sucking fuel from the back. That's no good. Easy test. Mine is fused shut. I have tried to open it, I cannot. So that's one reason why I'm going to be, and you can't buy this part at the dealership anymore. You have to make one or do something else. Another reason why I think I'm relocating my fuel filter somewhere else. You have dual battery setups just because it's diesel. Your fan guard, what's this called? Fan shroud is different from a gas engine one. Your radiator is bigger, so you got a trans cooler all up front. Behind here, you got here's my trans cooler, here's my oil cooler. You got a big radiator, you got a 4L80 transmission. So it's a pretty stout drivetrain. It ain't a Cummins, it ain't a Duramax. However, I put down 180 horsepower to the wheels in third, so my torque converter was not locked. So if I locked it, or if I had a manual, it's hard to say how much more, but I would guess I'm at least 225 horsepower, maybe closer to 250. Depending on what the percentage of drivetrain loss is on this truck. But it was fun for a half ton. It actually had some good highway passing power. If you swapped a Duramax in it, it would be in box some of the frame to keep it safe. It'd be awesome because it's very light, be fast. You just need to upgrade the brakes because the brakes kind of suck. It's disc in the drum in the rear with the 14 bolt. Everybody says if they're in good shape, they're good. I just know I have a 4-wheel disc Duramax now, and it stops great compared to this. I would probably attempt to repair this truck if 96 had a flip-out door. From all that I've seen, 95 and 96 do not have a flip-out door. 97 and newer did. However, none of the 6.5 diesel trucks had the flip-out door. They were all the half tons on the extended cabs. My only guess is more torque, easier to twist the frame when you have less bolting it, or easier to twist things when you have it together. Otherwise, I have no explanation of why the diesel trucks never had a third door on their half tons or their 2500s either. So this is the truck summary. I don't know what you need to know. If you delete the factory radio, you have a nice little pocket here. Pretty useful. Also note, when you're looking at these, if you're looking at a truck that does not have this, which I glued together because I took two and made them one, if it does not have this, good luck finding one, okay? Those are extremely hard to find, which is one reason why I'll be using this console on my other truck. Door panels, standard stuff, power windows. You lose that if you go to the cheaper version of the tow mirrors, but it doesn't really affect me since I was mainly the only one driving this truck. But all in all, I'm gonna miss this truck a little bit, mostly just because I put so much time into it and I did all the work, turbo swapping, oil cooler upgrade, battery cable upgrade, alternator upgrade, intake manifold upgrade, gauge upgrade, feed the beast mod on the FFM, fuel filter manager. I did all the lights, did the thing. If I have some time with this truck, I would recommend one if you find a clean one. A 6.5 diesel, great. I was getting, before I had a boost leak on the crossover tube, I was getting 18 miles per gallon. Went down to like 16, 17 once I had a boost leak. The best I ever saw on a highway trip was 20. And this is a four-wheel drive version. I heard the two-wheel drives get even better over 20. And I personally think the extended cab short bed is the perfect daily driver size. Big enough that you got enough space to fit a couch in the back with the tailgate down. Small enough that you can still take it through a drive-through, park it. Like I said, I would recommend one of these trucks if you can find a clean one. This one for me, I'm about to become a family man. It doesn't make a ton of sense anymore to put more money into this, which is why I decided to go with the Burb over there. As you see, it's a nice green Burb. This will go to either the scrapyard or to someone else who wants a project. And especially if they want to go to the work of finding a new frame for it and putting this body on it. As you can see, overall the body and the interior are pretty good. It might be worth the time to actually do that. I'm just not in a position where that's an option for me right now. Otherwise I would just park it off to the side and keep it until I had that option, but it's not in the cards for me right now. So I'll be selling stuff off of here soon. Anything else we need to know? As you see, 14 bolt. I took out the spare tire. Maybe not the most wisest move, but it wasn't. I got a brand new car. Look at how clean it is, guys. Anybody wants it? I'm gonna be pulling a lot from this unless someone makes me an offer I can't refuse. Otherwise, they can come get it as is. It's gonna have to be a pretty decent offer though, because shoot, that turbo and tune was $1,200 by itself. Tires, another $700. So yeah, you get the picture. I've got some money here. It's probably gonna be worth more money to me in parts than it is if someone wanted to come buy it. But one more walk around. 19. This will be the same interior you'll see right there is from 95 to 98 or 99 and 2000 on the 3/4 ton, 1 ton trucks. Definitely recommend the 95 and newer interior. It's all what you need: power windows, power locks, and nothing else. I mean, it's bare bones necessities, but it's just enough. And someone else gets one. If it was a crew cab, if it was a 4-door, I wouldn't be selling it. That's how much I like it. So I'd probably be keeping it for a long, long time. And the good news is with this Suburban, it needs a transmission, so I'm probably going to pull a transmission from this one, swap it in there just for the time being, sell the core, and just to get it running back again on the cheap, and then I'll do some other couple things on it. But overall, this is a great start. Other than the transmission, I drove it home, drove it 275 miles home, so this unit is other than the transmission, it had no problems. Steered great, drove pretty good. Turbo's brand new basically, so that turbo will get me some money once I put this turbo on it. And came with a nice huge roof rack, looks kind of cool. But back to this truck. Overall views, if I had to rate this truck 10 out of 10, or sorry, out of 10, whoops. If I had to rate this truck out of 10 stars, I would give, what do I not like about it? I don't like that it's not crew cab, but that's not the truck's fault. I don't like that it's not a third door, and that was an option on the 6.5 diesels. That I kind of knock it for. But otherwise, it's tried hard to find things to really knock on it. It's just a good drivetrain, 480 manual shift transfer case. Just like even one thing that's hard to get off on these trucks. Those Fender Wells are metal, and they take the bolts all out, and they don't come out quite as easier as the newer trucks. That's the 800 series trucks, because they're metal, so they don't really bend. You got to wiggle them out just the right way, and they can cut you because they're kind of sharp. But overall, this has been a good truck to me. This one does have a lot of paint peeling, a little bit of rust. I don't know if it's rust or paint peel. It's probably just more paint peel. But overall, this is a very, very clean truck. Get one from the south, obviously, because you don't have any rust, and this one's in Atlanta. So if anyone wants it, message me real quick. I'm on Instagram at Second Momentum Garage, so shoot me a message there too. But so like I said, there's a lot of things I need off this truck. However, if someone with the right offer wants it, they can come get it. I'm not gonna be too upset. All I need is a transmission and a door for that truck, for the Suburban, technically, to make it a daily driver. So looks good from a little bit boxy, but it looks good from almost every angle. One last walk around. I even put a new tailgate handle on this brand new GM tailgate, AC Delco tailgate handle, which I can't reuse on that truck because that truck has a lock, and this one does not have a lock. So it is not transferable, unfortunately, because this was like $90, I think, and it's super easy to take in and out. So it's kind of a bummer that I'm going to lose that money. But I fit motorcycles back here many times, and overall view, like I said, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10 on my experiences. GM Chevy K1500 from the 90s. 6.5 diesel is a plus, in my opinion, in the half ton. As long as you got one that has been taken care of, so which mine was. Good enough that I kept running for me for 57,000 miles without any major problems. Actually, the only thing that broke on me was the transfer case. I lost the transfer case. I lost 2 high, 4 high, and had 4 low only. So I replaced the transfer case. I was ready to roll, drove it for another 20,000 miles, and then I think the injection pump just went. But if it's the original, it's got 373K on it. It's probably not original, but it lasted for me for 57,000 miles, so I have really nothing to complain. I paid $3,700 for this truck before I did all the upgrades and stuff, and maybe I overpaid a little bit, but I got my money's worth out of it based on how much I drove it, based on how it towed my Duramax home when I bought my Duramax, and started up my Instagram account with it too, so worked out good for me. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.